The story of Argentinian beef is a long one. The first cattle were brought by the mid-1500s. Cattle made its way to South America by the end of the 1500s into the Argentinian pampas. There the gaucho noticed that the animals were very tamed. Gauchos also noticed that cattle had no problem with the weather, making it easy for these animals to multiply rapidly. And not only that, but they also roamed free. These cattle were given the name Argentinian Criollo. It is the same breed as the American Longhorn. They share the same DNA, but it evolved in a different way. The Longhorn is as tame as any other breed that came into contact with people. In Argentina, they took advantage of this, but it was not meat that they were looking for. Gauchos were just interested in their horns. They used horns for many this, especially to drink water and other things from. On the other hand, hives were used for making clothes and boots apart from horse saddles. Gauchos traveled long distances sometimes. When this happened, they would take a small bull with them to eat. What they did was to cook the meat on a cross. They cooked it, and what is left, they took it with them. This type of cooking is still used today, but for doing so you need a lot of space, which not a lot of people have. Even though cattle thrive in Argentina, there is one area that is the best. That place is called the Pampas. The Pampas is a vast area of flat land located in the middle of Argentina. The rich soil produces crops. By this time, people started to move to this area and people started to run to these areas. They started to claim lands and cattle under their name, but closing big areas with barbed wire. By the 1800s, refrigeration was common, and in Argentina started to export frozen meat. Most of the slaughterhouses belonged to English companies, but that would be for another video. The British were taking Argentinian beef to England. English companies would buy cattle from Argentinian farmers for less than half of the price that was actually worth. By mid-1800s, Argentina started to import new cattle breeds. Criollo. It is our national breed, and this is not an imported breed. It is a breed that is easy to fatten up, and it is also used for dairy products, which has very good milk qualities. Hereford, a good breed, but with problem with eye infections. Shorthorn, great breed. They are not only used for beef, but they are also used in the dairy sector. Aberdeen Angus, red and black. This is the most common cattle in the beef industry. It is an animal that fattens up very easily, and farmers love that. Charolais, big animal. It is great for beef, but it takes a very long time to fatten up. This breed is very difficult to have in a feedlot system due to its size. Feedlot or grazing. Feedlot is grain-based feeding system that gives cattle a detail feeding. Feedlot has its problems. The biggest problem with feedlot is that cattle can easily get sick. Also, cattle does not exercise, and this brings fat to meat where it's not needed. On the positive side, feedlot allows cattle to fatten up faster. This allows farmers to sell cattle faster to slaughterhouses. Grazing, on the other hand, allows cattle to exercise and creates a better quality of beef. The only problem is that cattle with this type of feeding takes longer for the farmer to sell. The picture shows when an animal is ready. This is a guideline for farmers to know when cattle is ready for the market. Slaughterhouses. Slaughterhouses nowadays work with a lot of rules, and they do get a lot of inspections on a monthly basis. Slaughterhouses are also processing plants. Slaughterhouses in the mid-1800s were not considered the best job around. We need to remember that by that time there weren't many working laws. There is a misconception about slaughterhouses or processing plants. Some people believe that all the meat is frozen. The truth is that meat is always chilled to a temperature above freezing. Every slaughterhouse has a processing plant. Here beef is cut and packed and are sent to supermarkets or butcher shops around the country. Meat cuts varies depending on the country. A cut in Argentina may not be the same in Spain. This is what makes processing plants very important. Some butchers in Argentina prefer to process their own beef. This also allows the butcher to create his own cuts. The truth is that not too many butchers prefer the system of processing their own beef. It is a difficult job, and a lot of time needs to be spent on this. It is not an easy job. Very sharp knives are used as well as saws, making it a dangerous job. Butchers that process their own meat is basically a lost art. There are many reasons why this is happening, but the most common problem is that it is too much work for some butchers. Beef has grading, double A being the best quality, while F is the worst, which is not really used for human consumption, but for making dog and cat food. When do farmers sell cattle? Farmers do not sell cattle all year long. The selling of cattle goes by two very important points. 1. How many heads do I have? 2. How many males do I have? In Argentina, cattle are sold by age. Minimum age is 90 days up to the 120 days. This is the age that cattle has the best meat. In Argentina, farmers will not sell any cattle under the 90 days. This is because cattle under this age does not reach the fat levels that it needs to go to the slaughterhouse. At 120 days, the meat is still in its best. Things start to change at around 200 days, when meat starts to get harder. El asado is an art. The asado is a very traditional dish in Argentina, in which friends and family gather. The asado consists on any type of beef, chicken, sausages, and any other part of cattle that can be grilled. When it comes to meat, it all depends on what cuts people like to eat and also the amount of people eating. It can be expensive to make an asado. There are cuts that are more expensive than others. It comes down to how much you want to spend. Meat cuts varies depending on the country. A cut in Argentina may not be the same in Spain. This is what makes processing plants very important. In Argentina, people will buy meat at a supermarket, but not any supermarket. There are supermarkets that do have very good quality of meat and not expensive. Supermarkets will bring all sorts of cuts to sell, and the meat cut class is rated B, just as a butcher. The difference is the amount of cuts they have, allowing the price to be a little cheaper than a butcher shop. Asado has a serving rule. Grilled cheese comes in as an appetizer. Chorizos are also appetizers. They are served together along with some other small cuts. I almost forgot. Big chain supermarkets also have a large section of everything you need to make an asado, from charcoal to fire starters. Conclusion. To answer the question why Argentina beef is so good, we can break it down as follows. The land. This is the real reason. It is perfect for grazing. And then comes the feeding. This is the second reason why Argentina beef is so good. We have reached the end of the video. Please share, comment, and hit that like button.